That's how I get that ooh.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
What's goody, YouTube? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to yet another live reaction video. If you're new here for the first time, my name is TMR, and since you clicked on this video, you might as well subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave your comments down below, and enjoy this reaction video. What's goody, YouTube? What's good, TMR gang? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another live reaction video. I'm your girl, TMR. Thank y'all so much for stopping what you were doing to meet me over this daggone break room, y'all. Oh, boy. All right. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail. I know a lot of y'all gonna be in this chat like, who's this, TMR? Baby, just sit back and take notes. Okay, girl? Because it's so much. It took me all day to get caught up. And I still feel like I'm behind. Child, it's been going down in the courthouse down there in Durham, North Carolina. To me, this is by far one of the most sensational social media court cases I've ever seen. Child, we got 4 people involved. We have Akira Montague, Brenay Kennard, and Timothy Montague. And then Devin, which I can't remember his last name. I'm sorry, y'all, because again, I'm getting caught all up. Devin was the husband to Brenay. Akira was the wife to Timothy. Timothy and Akira are now divorced. Brenay and Devin are now divorced. But now Brenay and Timothy are married. And to make it a little spicier, just a little bit spicier, Brenay's ex-husband, Devon, is Timothy Montague's cousin. Yeah, you heard me, y'all. Cousin. I said, baby, this a mess that... Baby, y'all thought we talked about mess over here with these moms. Oh, girl, please. Please. Those moms ain't got ish on this real life drama. No skit intended. Y'all know how y'all always say, it's a skit. It's a skit, baby. This full life in living color. You hear me? So Akira sues Brenay. Let me get it right, y'all, for alienation of affection. Because basically, to make it real simple for you, Brenay stole her husband, Timothy, from Akira. Now, apparently, Brenay and Timothy been knowing each other from way back. Way back since they was like dating when they were younger. Brenay has a twin sister named Corinne, excuse me, Corinne, I believe that's how they pronounce her name, Corinne. And at one point, Timothy and Corinne was tiptoeing in the tulips too. Well, based off my assumptions of listening to what I have heard and seen, Brenay was infatuated with Timothy. So, in my opinion, to get closer to Timothy, she does what? Marries his cousin. Now, Brenay and Akira were best friends. I don't know how long they were friends, but they called each other best friends. And at one point, Timothy and Akira married. were hanging out with Brenay and Devin, married couples, two married couples hanging out. Because again, remember, Timothy and Devin are cousins, blood cousins. So they hanging out with each other. Two what married couples. Y'all know married couples do that. They hang out with other married couples. But all along, Brenay, in my opinion, wanted Akira's life, literally. Not figuratively. Literally wanted this lady's life. And so Brenay comes up with this story that Devin is over there beating on her. And Akira, because this is her friend, this is her husband's cousin's wife, decides to move Brenay into their home, into Akira and Tim's marital home. And baby, the ish hit the fan from there. Now, Timothy and Akira have children. Brenay doesn't have any children, but Brenay's twin sister, Kyron, does have children. And it's being alleged that her youngest child, allegedly, could be Timothy's because they look so similar, the child and Timothy. Again, remember I told you, the twin sister to Brenay's twin sister, Kyron, used to mess with Timothy back in the day. I think they said around 2014. I done seen and heard of a lot of stuff, but this situation here, this hit different. This was given spiritual warfare. This felt very demonic, spiritual. It just, the things that you hear and that came out in court about Brenay. Akira says she's finding baby teeth laying all around the house. Devin, the ex-husband to Brenay, says he hearing Timothy and Brenay having sex in Devin and Brenay's marital home, like he's hearing them have sex. Brenay sending or asking Timothy's young children that was over there, go somewhere in another room and get the wipes so they can wipe the sexual juices off of each other. Baby, this court. Now, what I found out is Akira's mother is an attorney. Baby, ain't nothing like a mother's love. One thing about a mama, damn sure a good mama, she gonna fight for her child, or she gonna help her child fight. Her mother is a lawyer. And in North Carolina, in some states, North Carolina being one of them, alienation of affection is a thing. So Akira won in court. She won her judgment. And Brenay now owes her $1.75 million for the alienation of affection. And then there was a second charge of criminal conversation, and she won a $250,000 lawsuit for that. So people are muttering on the internet, oh, Akira will never see that money. Well, it came out in court that Brenay, who is a social media influencer, who has about 5 million followers across her social media platforms, that on TikTok alone, because she's real big on TikTok alone, she makes about $11,000 a month. And so what this all boils down to is, you basically, Brenay, meaning Brenay basically bought Timothy for about almost $2 million. And I don't care what nobody say. Baby, there ain't a man on this earth worth me giving up my hard-earned cash. But apparently, Brenay says he's all worth it. She said everything she's going through, lawsuits, humiliation, people, talking about her like a dog all over social media. She said it's all worth it because she got the prize. Now, Akira has moved on too. She has another man. I didn't catch his name, but he was at the court with her. She has moved on as well too. I don't know what Devin has got going on, but Akira had a damn good attorney. She had a lot of support inside and outside the courthouse, across social media. And one thing I admire Akira for doing is instead of unaliving Brenay, because again, she was emotionally distraught by losing her husband, her family, everything. Rightfully so. She didn't unalive this woman. She hit her in the pockets. She sued her. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Brenay said after court that she'll probably never see that money. Oh, girl, you a lie. Because whatever you do, you owe this lady. Baby, don't go win no scratch off. Don't go to the casino and hit. And you got to get your ID, honey, because you ain't getting that money. You know, moving assets around to other family members, that's against the law. You can't do that. Trust me. Akira has a very good attorney and her mother's attorney. Baby, they all over that. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are saying Brenay has a Jezebel spirit. Yeah. But I'm going to also tell you what I gather from watching her. She has a very immature spirit. Very immature. And what I'm going to warn women, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you, my mom used to say this. The one thing you don't do, you don't have no woman up in your house, up around your husband. You do not do that. Baby, that go for cousins, sisters, aunties, hell, mama. You don't have no woman. The fact that Akira allowed this woman to come live in her home is wild to me. But I guess she loved this man, meaning Timothy, so much and trusted him that she felt like, oh, my best friend and my husband that I love and my best friend that's my best friend would never do me like that. Because remember, guys, before Brenay moved into their marital home, Akira and Tim, they all hung out as married couples, doing videos together, skits on social media, hanging out, just doing what married couples do. And how she stumbled up on, women's intuition is a mother sucker, but how she stumbled up on it, there was a computer that was bought when Akira got her tax money. Apparently, it was their computer, meaning Akira and Timothy's combined. And she went on the computer one day to get ready to do her taxes and stumbled across videos that Brenay did in the marital home of basically her, seducing Akira's husband, Tim. They've been calling it destiny swapping. It's given very spiritual to me. It really is, and it just hits different with Brenay. But I think Brenay really, literally wanted to be in this woman's skin. I really feel so. I really do. But I like the fact that Akira handled it as a grown woman should and sued this heifer instead of doing what Latasha Daniels did. Y'all remember the Latasha Daniels? He broke my heart. The woman that unalived the pastor down there in Memphis. She just got found guilty the other day of manslaughter. Remember, she shot and killed the pastor and wounded his wife. At least she didn't take it that far. She didn't ruin her life, although her life was ruined by being, humiliated and destroyed by losing the man the man that she loved, her husband, the father of her children. She took it different. She did it the right way. She sued that heifer in court and won. And you know what's so funny? There's an old saying. The same way you got them is the same way you're going to lose them. And apparently from court, things that came out in court, Timothy had already cheated on Akira before with somebody else. What Brenay did, she represented herself. So she was her own attorney in this court, which is bananas to me. Initially, Akira had sued for like over $3 million. Anytime that type of money is on the table, yeah, you don't do something that's foolish in representing yourself. But what do we expect Brenay to make any smarter decisions when she made this decision to basically destroy her life by getting with this guy? But what she found out while on the stand, she found out that when Timothy and Akira allegedly were supposed to be separated, baby, they were still tiptoeing in the tulips with each other. And Brenay was flabbergasted. You could tell by the look on her face, baby. She was, honey, you could tell the wind got knocked out of them long boobies of hers. So how Brenay became viral, because again, remember, she's a social media influencer with her long, gaudy nails and her very big breasts. And a few years ago, she was on social media telling the people that she wanted to get a breast reduction and started a GoFundMe, and people donated thousands and thousands of dollars to this GoFundMe that never happened. Well, the GoFundMe happened, but the breast augmentation never happened. But you see how social media gets past stuff real quick? Like you just scammed me out of thousands of dollars and I'm still following you. And this was a couple years ago. So she never had the breast augmentation surgery. And she was literally flouncing Timothy on her social media when he was still married to Akira, although they were separated, but they were still married. Like, she really thought wasn't nothing going to happen. Brenay even said in a courtroom interview after court, she basically said that Akira gave her permission to sleep with Tim. And I guess Brenay said that because I guess she wants the world to believe if this woman was dumb enough to let my grown ass, that I am no relation to her, come live up in her home. Well, if she was dumb enough to do that, don't y'all think she would be dumb enough to give me permission to sleep with her husband that she claims she ain't really feeling like that anymore? So she said that to make people believe that Akira really gave this woman permission. But do you see how, she mocked this lady through the whole... My thing is, once you got that man, sis, you got him. What was the point of still antagonizing Akira when you already got the ninja? That's why I feel like it got deeper than Tim. She wanted Akira's soul. That's just... I don't know why I feel that way, but I definitely feel that way. She likes the attention she gets looking uncomfortable and stuffed. What an idiot. Sean says she even used his last name in court, or is him and Brenay married? Apparently, it's saying that they got married earlier, sometime this year. So y'all, we're gonna get into some stories, okay? We're gonna get into some stories and things that I found on TikTok. All right, we're going to get into some stories and things I found on TikTok that could kind of put some of these pieces of the puzzles together. I don't know how much information you guys are aware of, but we're gonna get down to the bottom. It's a very... I'm telling you guys, it's a very interesting story. All right, so let me get this picture off the screen. All right, so let's get into this first TikTok.
unverifiable. She now owes Akira $1.5 million for stealing another woman's husband. The verdict is in, and after days of testimony, tears, and chaos, the jury didn't hesitate. Akira just won one of the wildest courtroom battles the internet's ever followed. $250,000 for alienation of affection, plus over $1 million for emotional and financial damage. For months, Brenay bragged online about taking Akira's man, mocking her as jealous and bitter. But today, that arrogance came with a price tag. Akira stood in court, surrounded by supporters, breaking down when the verdict was read. After being humiliated online, she finally walked away with justice and the proof that she wasn't crazy. She was right. Social media is calling it karma in real time. Brenay went from the other woman to the woman who owes $1.5 million. And now, fans are asking the same thing. What happens to Tim? With no money and no clout left, insiders say he's next in line for legal trouble. For Akira, this isn't just a win. It's a message. You can't destroy someone's marriage, gloat about it, and think you'll walk away untouched. She lost her husband, but Brenay just lost everything else.
Wow. I mean, you know, this can set the precedent for a lot of that. You know, a lot of women think it's cute to, you know, be the side chick. But it definitely has cost Brenay a lot of money. And I just want to know, like, sis, was it worth it? I mean, I guess she would say yes. But I guess we'll see in due time. I heard a conspiracy theory on the internet where people were saying that this was all a setup, that Tim and Akira are basically setting Brenay up. So once the money gets paid out, Tim's going to leave her and go back to the woman with the money. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think Akira is officially done. She's been done. You don't go through all of this to go back to the man for the reason why you're going through this. But, you know, people say the damnedest things on the internet.
Catch them. He heard everything, even the part where they asked a child to bring the wipes. In court today, Devin took the stand and dropped a bomb that left jurors shaking their heads. He testified that his ex-wife Brenay and his cousin Tim were doing the oochie coochie in his own house multiple times, sometimes with Akira's little boy right there in the home. Devin said he heard them at least 4 times. One night after they finished, they called the kid to the room for wipes. The courtroom gasped. Akira burst into tears. Even jurors were crying. Her mom and grandmother wiped their faces, unable to look away. The therapist testified that Akira's mental health had spiraled from sadness to full-blown anxiety, triggered by seeing restaurants and places she once went with Tim and Brenay. Then Brenay tried to twist the notes, accusing Akira of being violent. The therapist pushed back. She was hurt, not hateful. By the time Devin finished, the picture was clear. While Akira was raising kids and trying to heal, Tim and Brenay were turning a family into a scandal.
Child, that was a lot. I definitely don't feel like Akira was crazy. She was heartbroken. She was devastated. I mean, you know, when you love somebody and you put your all into them, you start a family with them. And you get, you know, done and by 2 people that you obviously trust, your best friend and your husband, you know, that's a horrible feeling. So Devin gets in court and basically Tim gets in court and basically downplays the way he felt for Akira. He said he never loved Akira. He said he found the cheapest ring he could to give to her as an engagement ring. He said he didn't even bend down on one knee, trying to humiliate the woman. But obviously he was doing that to, you know, for Brenay. Which, again, sir, you got children with this woman. Like, regardless of how you feel about her, she is the mother of your children. So let's get into another one.
She said it was okay because she knew her marriage was over with and it was done.
But the jury didn't agree, awarding Akira Montague the $1.75 million after more than 700 pieces of evidence were presented in court, including some of Brenay's own TikToks and texts.
That says that my client was telling the truth.
The case hinged on two rarely used laws, including alienation of affection.
It can be very hard to prove, and the reason is because it's hard to find a point in a relationship where the relationship necessarily started to go bad.
But in these videos and in the court testimony, the jury found that point, leaving Brenay Montague with a hefty bill and no answer on how she'll pay.
I don't know, but she'll probably never see it.
I wouldn't be so sure of that, sis. I wouldn't be so sure of that. That attorney she has, definitely going to make sure she sees it. All right. So let's get into another. Like, there was a lot of information on the internet. Like, so many people weighed into this conversation. I'm going to show you guys a couple of opinions that people had about this court case. One of them is really funny that I want to show you guys that I thought was funny.
Didn't just chase a crush. She married his cousin to get closer. That's the allegation lighting up everyone's feed. Here's the mess. Tim is the crush. Devin was the husband. Akira was Tim's wife. They all grew up together. Old drama, twin sister beef, and a first love narrative that never died. Fast forward, Brenay and Devin become the God-fearing TikTok couple. Then they start double dating with Tim and Akira. Lines blur. Clothes get skimpier. Boundaries get soft. Rumors start. Brenay moves into Tim and Akira's home after claiming marital issues. Akira says nights went missing. Doors were closed. And gaslighting followed every question. Family steps in. A trash den. A grandma confrontation. Tim wants me here, Brenay allegedly says. Then the alleged bomb. Brenay tells Devin she loves Tim and proves it in their house. Devin files for divorce. He alerts Akira. The timeline snaps into focus. And now, people say Brenay and Tim are married, with Brenay playing provider while Tim's pockets look light. So is this love, obsession?
So yeah, so you've also found out that Devin, I don't know what Devin is going to do. People saying that Akira is going to go for Tim. I don't think so. My opinion is it's enough that she's going for Brenay because let's be honest, y'all, Brenay is the breadwinner. Tim doesn't do anything. He doesn't make any money, which again just baffles me why Brenay is going through all this with a man that can't even provide for you. Like he can't even pay the court costs, the court filing fee. And apparently there's another court case for like the stalking, cyber stalking or something that Akira has against. So they're going back to court again. This is definitely not over. So let me show you something that Tim had said on social media. I found this. Like I said, it was a lot of stuff on social media. I just couldn't grab everything because it was so much stuff.
That y'all seeing here is not the way stuff actually went about. It was understanding. It was things going on months before anything came to the internet. But y'all only see like so much, and things are so fabricated. So the stuff that y'all see is not like, it didn't go down like that, and people know. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not about to get into nothing, but all I'm going to say is that everything that y'all see is not what it is at all. Like I said, months of understanding, months of other stuff going on, that everything was different. Everything was different. And then out of nowhere, once it get to people being in their feelings about whatever, months after, then here we go. It's this big, oh my gosh, like I'm telling you, it didn't go like that. Everything that y'all.
So something else that you will find out, the whole situation, how Tim and Akira got together, she ended up moving into the family house. I think it's the house, his grandmother put the house in her name. And so when the Kyra moves in, the grandmother basically said, y'all got to get married in like 2 months in order to live here together. And so when it got to the point where Brenay moved in and everything started going down, in order to get them out the house, because remember, this was Tim's grandmother's house. It was in her name. In order to get Brenay out the house, the police had to be called. And even during then, Tim was saying he didn't want Brenay to leave. He's telling his wife, the mother of his children, that he don't want Brenay to leave, who obviously wasn't his wife. But apparently, as we know now, they were romantically involved. You guys heard that I guess they grew up together. All 4 of them grew up together. Again, you heard me say Brenay is colluding with this man, knowing that this man used to sleep with her sister, her twin sister at that. Like, this is a lot going on. Baby, when I tell you this was so twisted to me, all this that was going on, I don't even know how Kyra mentally survived all this. Obviously, she has a very strong, family background. Again, I said, like, her mother's an attorney. She definitely has some strong Black women in her family. Because, child, this was a mess. So let me tell you, let me lighten the mood a little bit, you guys. And let's get into this.
My name is Brenay Kennard, and I am here to prove that I did not break up the marital relationship. Evidence will show that I am obsessed with Akira. Evidence will show that my sister Corinne and I, this is about competition. Evidence will show, it will show that it is based on facts and not emotion, that Tim and I were together before. Evidence will prove. It will prove to you. So, y'all just come on and ride along with us and everything, because it ain't truth. It is not truth, you know. Evidence will prove that I'm here to just see her pain and I don't care about the lawsuit. Evidence will prove how evil I am. Evidence will prove. So that's all I gotta say.
Is because apparently Brenay says she's from Baltimore, and shouts out to B More. Y'all know when a lot of the B More people talk, they say chew and floor and few and pew. You know, they roll their R's and stuff. So that's what she was mimicking. I thought that was so funny. That was hilarious to me. All right, then I got another one, honey. He was kind of funny to me too, so that's why I wanted to bring him on. Again, not saying this situation was a laughing matter, because this definitely wasn't a laughing matter. You know, unfortunately, a lot of women go through this, and that's what I'm saying, baby. This not a safe game to play. You colluding around with somebody else's husband, regardless if he's with it. Just like that situation with Latasha Daniels. That is a very interesting story. You know, that happened back in 2019. And when I seen the other day, Latasha Daniels got found guilty, I was like, damn, I remember this story. I remember hearing about this story with the pastor and the testimony that she gave, Latasha Daniels, that she gave, oh my God, when she was talking about she was giving the pastor dome. I said, brother, what church was this he was preaching at? I said, child. And how Latasha Daniels ended up going to the pastor is because she was having problems in her marriage. She went to the pastor for counseling, and it went from counseling to them sleeping with each other. It was, you know what's so funny to me? We're going to switch back to Brenay. I guess I just got so many thoughts. You know, Brenay obviously is making a lot of money on social media. She has a really big following. She doesn't have any children, you know. So essentially, you know, I mean, her money goes to her. Well, up until today, her money went to her. And you would have thought, sis, you threw all that away for this ninja when you could have took that and that money and built you, I don't know, an empire. There's so much that she could have done with herself, and she could have got with a man that obviously wasn't attached to another woman, but better yet, got with a man that truly loved you for who you are. Because I'm gonna keep it 100. If Tim truly loved Brenay, do you honestly think he would have took her through any of this? If Brenay really loved Tim, why wouldn't you want to have a man that you ain't got to fight like that for? All that you got to do to get that man, like, sis, it's, you know, maybe I'm in my old age, baby, that's too much energy. I ain't got all that energy for you like that. So, I don't know. It just, like I said in the beginning of this live, Brenay really gives to me very emotionally immature. Now, Akira, I can't just leave her out. Sis, you was dummy. You was dummy as hell to allow that woman to come. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Ninja, if you going to cheat, I ain't going to sit the coochie on the table for you. Now, that I'm not going to do. Now, it's like she literally came to set the coochie on the, Akira literally came to set the coochie on the table for the man. Now, if you gonna cheat, oh, baby, you gonna have to go out there and find your own cooch. Yeah, I can't sit the coochie on the table for you, sir. And in a sense, that's kind of what happened. So, okay, let's get into this other guy.
Look down when they were showing them text messages about how Akira and Tim was still messing with each other. Brenay couldn't do nothing but look down when they were showing the text messages about Akira and Tim still messing with each other. Photos and all. Brenay, you need to know something. Men is just like new cars. They always come with reverse and drive. They could go backwards and forwards. Hello? Akira and him sending pictures back and forth, and Brenay acting like she don't even want to look at him. You acting like you doodling and writing stuff down. Girl, you writing your name 100 times like you in history class. Now, apparently, Tim didn't like the fact that the jurors had got pictures of his private parts. Hey, he's talking about some of the pictures is altered. Your number right there, my boy. You better off saying it was cold outside. Now listen, Brenay is just acting like she's still in love. I mean, I guess she got to keep facing this whole thing because she knows it's gonna play it out online. But apparently, Akira was having her way still with that nigga, or was she building a case? Sidebar: if the mama alive, you know the daughter alive. Mama caught up in this shit, daughter lying, yeah. Fruit don't fall far from the tree. I digress. Now listen, we gonna see what happened next, y'all. But this is messy, yo. Brenay, I don't think that's your man like how you think that's your man. And all the ladies was in my comments a couple posts ago and say Devin the one that came out on top. They said Devin came through like he was working at the Garden of Eden. Go ahead, brother. I'm just here to bring y'all the news. I'm just a messenger. Brenay couldn't do.
Baby, he was hilarious to me. He was hilarious to me. Do y'all feel like Devin is on top? For all of y'all that follow this story, and a lot of y'all was in the comments. A lot of y'all was in the comments telling me to catch up. You know, Tasha, have you heard about this Brenay and Tim and the Kyra situation? And I hadn't really heard about it, y'all, because I'm on TikTok, but I don't be on there like that. Child, this was a lot. Once I got into it, baby, I went down the rabbit hole. It's another video I want to show you guys on YouTube. It's a little longer, but she really gets into the spiritual part of what happened between this whole situation with all four of them. So let's get into this one. This one's a little funny too.
Corinne, sister, we on you now, okay? We gonna put your sister on pause until she gotta go back for the cyber stalk and figure out what your mama meant by she ain't gonna see a dime of it. But you, we on that with you, because why is your baby daddy on live saying he ain't never even met the second baby? So if he ain't never met the second baby, who name on the birth certificate? Baby daddy, I need you to call Akira and ask her for the lawyer number, because she gonna get all the evidence, okay? She gonna get it all in, okay? And I hope you have kept receipts of you asking to see that second baby, because you claimed that first baby. He did. He said that's his first baby. He said, but he does not know, okay? So what I have learned is all of them is sick in the head, okay? And what I want everybody to understand is I see the comments saying Akira and Devin can't fight. But one thing about me as a baby mama, I know how to baby mama. So I'm gonna get over here and talk to baby daddy, because Corinne, you on the clock, boo?
So Corinne is the twin sister to Brenay. So she basically saying, Corinne, come to the front, please, because we need to holler at you. And baby daddy, because again, like I told you guys, it's being alleged that Corinne's last child is allegedly Tim's. So Say said, it's not over yet, Miss TMR. They got 4 more cases to go. 1, child support in custody. 2, Tim bringing a pew-pew to court. Yes, on the day that Tim was supposed to testify, he had a pew-pew in his book bag. And they still let him testify, but honey, he got arrested. Okay. And violating probation. 3, Brenay cyber stalking charge. 4, Tim and Devin. So Devin is suing Tim. I mean, I might as well. You might as well at this point. Okay. And remember, y'all, Tim and Devin are cousins, blood cousins, not play cousin, cousin. Okay, auntie, uncle, the sister, brother kids. Okay, real cousins. I said, wait, hold on. So wait a minute, Brenay. Says, hold on. You used to mess with Tim back in the day, and so did your twin damn sister. Then you and Tim, for whatever reason, wasn't messing around anymore. You go and seek out Devin, Tim's cousin, to turn around to get with Tim. So why did Devin even get involved? Since you should have just missed him and went right back to, you should have got him before he got with Akira. That didn't even make sense to me. If Tim is who you always wanted, how the hell did you get with Devin? Baby, you can't make this stuff up, Miss Giselle. Like, I said, baby, do they got any community centers, community colleges, churches down there in Durham? Because y'all act like y'all ain't got nothing to do down there but sit around and screw each other all damn day. Cousins and sisters and brothers and aunties and uncles. I said, baby, there's a lot going on. And I ain't trying to be funny. You typically don't see that happen in the Black community. Typically, you don't see that. Okay? But baby, when I see all these folks with black, I feel, what in the world? Okay, I mean, I guess y'all. Let's see here. Let me get into this one. Okay. You said Nina has kids with Devin. Who is Nina? Maja, who is Nina? Is that girl? I ain't heard that person's name. So let me get into this person on YouTube. Give me just one moment. She was really, really interesting, and I want y'all to get into her. Now, if it's too deep for you, then okay, I'm sorry. But y'all know there are times TMR like to go deep. And when I caught this lady, when I was searching the Brenay and Tim thing on YouTube, I came across this lady's video. Now, we may not watch all of it, but we're going to watch a good portion of it. Then I'm going to allow you guys. Let me hold on. What's her name again? The name of her channel is Tiffany Montgomery. I had never seen this lady before until today. Okay, so let's get into this lady, and she really gets biblical with this. Okay.
Today for her alienation of affection case, and $250,000, which is $250,000 for the criminal conversation suit that they had. I was there with my legal pad. I have about 1,000 pages worth of notes here. Okay. But I wanted to share with you some of the things that I learned. You may say, Tiffany, why in the world were you there? Well, first of all, I strictly went there as an intercessor. Like, I felt like they needed some boots on the ground. This was, and nobody can convince me otherwise, a very spiritual case. And it was so funny, even as I just kind of looked through the hallways, I could pinpoint the intercessors in the hallways that knew nobody associated with the case. So it was like God sent spiritual reinforcements to this. And it was very interesting to me. So I'm going to share some of the lessons that I think everybody can learn in this. Before I get started, while I was in the court case in the natural, I for sure saw what was going on spiritually, right? Like, you're not just, I don't think people take into account how damaging and detrimental adultery is. Like, people play with adultery. You think it's just cheating on your spouse. You think God don't get, there are so many spiritual implications to adultery. It's not even funny. And only the people that don't understand covenant get away with it. But when you run into a husband or a wife that understands God's covenant, you are playing with fire. You're playing with death, actually. Many of you heard me share a story about an older woman. And this happened to her back in like 1940s, 1950s, something like that. But when she got married to her husband, neither of them were saved. And she was obviously considerably younger than him, because that's what they did back in the South. He had her barefoot and pregnant. She was about on her 7th or 8th child in her 20s. And he was out there cheating on her with everybody. So she went one day knocking on the door of the woman her husband was cheating with her children, with her, some on the hip, some walking. And she was like, stop sleeping with my husband. Now, mind you, this happened in the 1940s, 1950s. And the woman said over her dead body, would she ever stop sleeping with her husband? And what do, right? In the 40s or the 50s, when no law is on your side, nothing's on your side, and you're poor and you're in the South. And so she did, only thing she knew how to do is go to God. And she was a new Christian at the time. And she was like, God, I made a covenant between me, you, and my husband. And this woman is breaking the covenant. And she said over her dead body, I don't know what else to do. You know, back then, divorce wasn't an option. Like, nobody got a divorce. Well, when she went to the God of covenant, okay, covenant, that lady ate her words. You know, Psalm 64 says, God will cause your own tongue to turn on you. That lady said to her over her dead body, will I ever stop messing with your husband? And she received the fruit of her lips because she dropped dead that week. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? She dropped dead that week because you'll have whatever you say. There's a lot of carnal Christians out here. And if you're a carnal Christian, Life is going to beat you up. But those that know covenant, those that know the God of covenant, you play with a woman or a man of God or a child of God that understands covenant, you are quite literally playing with death. Anywho, so here I was at this court case today of Brenay and Akira. And again, Akira won the judgment of $1.5 million for alienation of affection, because North Carolina is an alienation of affection state. I'll explain what that is in a second. She also won $250,000 for, what did she win that for? Criminal conversation. And gosh, I just thought it was so fascinating. So anyway, go with me to Nahum chapter 3, verse 4, everybody, if you can, for 1 second. Everybody go with me to Nahum chapter.
Now, I'm going to say this to you guys. She gets into the Bible a little bit, but she kind of like correlates the two. And I know some people are going to feel uneasy, but that's okay. Like, I just really feel like y'all need to hear some of this. Now, again, stand on your own beliefs. I'm not trying to sway you anyway, but I think if we can listen to all perspectives. Okay.
3 verse 4. I just want to read this to you for a second. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth the nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft, behold, I'm against you. God is against mistresses and men. I don't know what you call them, but whores. He says, behold, I am against you. I'm against you. Now, what's very fascinating is when you look up the definition of the word mistress from the Strong's Concordance, and I don't know when the last time you guys looked up the definition of mistress, it's incredibly fascinating. But the definition of the word mistress is sorceress, necromancer, one that has a familiar spirit. Sorcerer, necromancer, and one that has a familiar spirit. That is the definition of the word mistress.
Yeah, Giselle, I understand what you're saying. I need to check out her history. I mean, I don't know anything about this woman. I just saw her today. I listened to her conversation. It was 30 minutes long, and I had 30 minutes to listen because I just wanted to hear her perspective. But I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not really that intriguing to me to get all deep into what she got going on or what she has going on. I just wanted to hear her perspective on this particular case because she was in the courthouse. So I just wanted to hear her perspective. But I understand and I respect what you're saying.
And he says, I'm against you. So here's the issue. Being a mistress is no light thing to God. You are a sorceress, a necromancer, and one who has a familiar spirit. Anybody that is a mistress, anybody that is in adultery, you're no longer dealing with a regular person. You're dealing with a witch, according to scripture, not according to Tiffany. This is why God doesn't play with it. You understand? This is why it's so easy when you say, oh, this spouse was bewitched. Like all of a sudden, the spouse went crazy. Well, that's true, right? Because the mistress is a witch. The mistress is a sorceress, a necromancer, and one who has a familiar spirit. It is not normal for men or women to come into a marriage and break that covenant. There is a spirit implication involved with that. With that being said, I sat there. I was the first person in line today for the closing arguments. And I sat there, and as I listened to what was going on, I was like, oh, I understand why God has me here now. Like, I'm fully persuaded. And I did my good praying, okay? Because this was witchcraft at its finest. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So I'm going to just give you 4 things and I'm going to get out your hair. The first lesson that I think everybody can learn from this is don't let a soul move in with you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I don't care if you have a spouse in the home, men, if you have a wife in the house, women, if you have a husband in the house, if somebody comes to you, both their eyes are black and blue, lip busted up, ribs gone, and say, can I stay at your house? And you have a husband and a wife at your house. You tell those people, no, you can't stay at my house. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. Call another family.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That that really don't just go for married people. That just go for in general. So you have to be careful about the type of people you invite into your home. You don't know what type of spirits you are letting in to your home. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a girlfriend one time. She let who was it? It was a friend of hers. She let her friend's husband and their 3 kids come stay with her. And they were there for about 3 months. She said that was the worst 3 months of her life. Literally. They're no longer friends. My girlfriend and that girl. I wasn't friendly with her, but I knew of her because, obviously I was friends with my homegirl. And she said, Tasha, every time I think about that whole 3 months, like she said, my skin crawls. Like she said, there's an old saying, you don't know a person until you live with them. And it turned their friendship upside down. It was not her cheating with the husband. Like my friend wasn't cheating with her friend's husband. It was just those spirits that she let into her home. Literally turned her whole house upside down. Her kids was unhappy. She was unhappy. She couldn't even have company over because their spirit alone just changed the whole trajectory of her household. So it doesn't really have nothing to do with, that's why you have to have a discerning spirit. You got to listen to your heart. You got to listen to your spirit. If it's something's telling you don't do it, don't freaking do it. Don't do it. When you go against your spirit, typically bad things do happen. You got to have discernment.
Remember, you can't stay at my house. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, I remember that.
We are in a generation, and I'm only saying that because it's the only generation I've ever been a part of because I've never been alive before in any other generation. But this generation has an obsession with being kind and nice to witches, wizards, and warlocks. This is why I believe spiritual discernment has gone down in the body of Christ, because we're so obsessed with doing everything that the Bible tells us not to do, including tolerating Jezebel, under the guise of we need to be nicer and kinder Christians. But when you don't have the ability to discern that you have a witch in your midst, right? And you begin to have demonic compassion for the person. What is demonic compassion? That is compassion that God did not tell you to have, right? What does that look like? When Saul, who became the Apostle Paul, was blinded on a street called Straight on the Road to Damascus, most of you would have helped him and interceded him out of that blindness. But it was, in fact, the blindness that was his deliverance process.
That's true, Maja.
You have to be very discerning in this hour who you're going to help and who you're not going to help by way of the instruction of the Holy Ghost. Just because you ran into somebody who is spiritually blind for a season, going through a hard patch in a season, don't know what to do next in a season, doesn't mean that you jump in to help. Could it be they're going through this because they have been rebellious against God? Could it be you helping them is getting in the way of what God is doing? Thus, your demonic compassion will open up your home to a witch. Now, I'm sure we've all seen plenty of movies when a home was beautiful, lovely, everybody got along, and they welcomed somebody into the home and all hell broke loose.
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Y'all remember that movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle?
Yeah, that's because you allowed an accursed thing to come into your house. According to the testimonies, everything was going pretty good in the marriage, right? Obviously, all couples, for the most part, go through things in their marriage, but things were going well in their marriage until Akira's best friend, Brenay, moved in under a lie saying that her husband at that time had beat her, which wasn't true.
The husband is Devin, ex-husband.
This was spiritual witchcraft, spiritual manipulation. And the husband had plenty of open doors, right? This was not a man. Akira's husband was not a man that knew how to keep his family safe. He was not a man that was the head of his house. He was not a man that kept his family physically safe or spiritually safe. He was a man that had a lot of open doors, which allowed this to happen.
Because if he was the man of that household, he would have told Akira, no, she cannot come stay here. Let her go stay with her family. She has family. If he was a man that was protecting of that household and protecting of his wife and protecting of his children, he would not have allowed Brenay to live in that home or to come into that home to live. That's what tells me, I don't know if he loved Akira or not, but he definitely was not a protector of that home. Because let's be honest, y'all, people talk. So I'm just going to say Devin and Tim, because remember, they're cousins, talked. And I'm pretty sure Devin probably, confided in Tim about things that was going on with him and Brenay in their marriage. So, and it's obvious Tim didn't care anything about his marriage, because just having conversations with Devin alone would have persuaded him not to let Brenay into his, at the time, I'm just going to assume, happy home.
Right? But I wanted to say that that's my first lesson. I don't care if your family member comes to you running like it's a slave master chasing them. Do not let them move into your house, because we have all underestimated how much people hate you, which goes to my second lesson.
Listen to this, y'all.
Destiny swapping is real. Okay? I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. There are some people in your life right now that want to be you. And I don't mean want to be you in a, oh, I like what you got going on. I really admire you. I love what you have. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there are some people right now, men, women, it doesn't matter. Your boyfriend could want to be you. They want to unzip your body, take your soul out, and they would like to put their soul in your body and walk around as you. Because they can't do that, they'll settle for mimicking it so much that they become settle for. Not only do people want to be you, okay, but people are jealous of how other people love you. You understand? Not only are people jealous and want to be you, but they're jealous of how people love you.
That's true, y'all. That's that jealousy thing. And you see a lot of that on social media. You see a lot of that on social media. Just quote unquote that, oh, you just hating on them. When people say stuff like that, I'm going to tell y'all something really, really, really quick. I had a girlfriend that was dating this guy. She ended up having 2 kids with him, a set of twin girls. And I remember saying to her one day, because she would confide in me, like situation problems they were having. And I remember saying to her, sis, he jealous of you. Because he would always talk down on her, like, oh, you ain't ish. Like when she had Section 8, you know, she was a hustler. She did everything legitimately, but that girl was a hustler, right? And he would say things to her like, oh, you ain't nothing but welfare, bitch. Now, like I used to say to her, I said, sis, what man would call you a welfare bitch and then sleep with you in the same, like, who, sis, you think that man like you and he talked to you like that? And I used to say to her, that man is jealous of you. One day they got into a big argument and he came out. He basically said to her, I hate how you get things so easily and I'm out here working my ass off. His words was, I got to work for everything I have and you get things come to you so easily. I remember her saying that to me and she said, you know what, sis, you was right. I said, I told you. Not trying to be in your business, sis, but you coming confiding into me. I'm listening and I'm just giving you what I'm picking up. That man was jealous of her. Now, this is a man that she was dating.
People will kill you because they can't take how people love you. The Bible says jealousy is as cruel as the grave. Meaning anybody that you have jealous around you is likely to kill you. People ask me all the time, Tiffany, what would you do if you had a friend that was jealous? I don't have no friends that's jealous of me. I got rid of all of them. Because anybody that's jealous of you will kill you. And if they can't get to you to kill you physically, they will try to kill your character, your name. They will try to kill your influence because the spirit of jealousy has come upon them. And it doesn't matter what gender they are.
Exactly. Take note, y'all. You got that friend that every time you got something good going on in your life and you come to your friend because you thinking it's your friend, and friends typically share their accomplishments with each other, right? And you got that one friend, every time you tell them about something, like say you meet a new guy and he romancing you and he whining and dining, he wooing you. And you tell your friend, girl, I just met this dude and then the friend say to you, girl, he probably got another woman. Girl, he probably married. I'm telling you right now, disassociate yourself from that person because, baby, they don't want nothing good for you. They're jealous of you. I'm telling you. Every time I had a friend like that, every time I would say something to her about something that was good going on in my life, she found some way to try to minimize my glory. We're not friends to this day.
That lady said in court today, Brenay said in court today, because, she represented herself. Right, and I couldn't understand that, even though I should have been a lawyer. I said to myself, why is she representing herself knowing she's getting sued for roughly $2 million? When she cross-examined, that lady said, Brenay said, she's just jealous of me. Let me get the right words. I don't want to.
It's diet.
1 second.
Including family, right, Lisa? Mm-hmm. Family be the worst one sometimes.
Because I am not no big fan of putting words in people's mouths. I got to read you exactly what this lady said.
Hey, Bella. Welcome. Baby, she took a lot of notes.
I got a lot of notes here. Give me 1 second. Okay. She said, Brenay said, this is when I knew. I mean, I've been knew everything wasn't wrapped too tight up here. But she said she was fine with me being around her husband and her children. But all of a sudden, she's not fine with it anymore until her position was taken. That's what she said. Like, so why all of a sudden I can't be around your kids now? You were fine with it when I was your best friend, but now you just being jealous because, you know, your position was taken. You moved into your best friend's house because you lied and said your ex-husband, then husband, was beating on you, which wasn't true. You started having sex with your best friend's husband in their marital home. You were sending Akira's children to go get you some wet wipes so you and her husband could wipe off your bodily fluids. When Akira told you to put on some clothes in her house because you were walking around scantily clad, you told her, no, you were dressed fine and you wouldn't leave her marital home. The police had to get you out of that lady's house. Akira then went on to say that she had seen baby teeth, like just teeth all around the house. Roots was getting worked on her. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Baby, when I heard that, I said, baby teeth. Baby, I'm so glad that I don't be in all places because I had never even heard of that. And when this lady, Tiffany, said roots, and then I put two and two, I said, oh. I said, that's a real thing? Now, y'all, I'm so deep into my faith, I don't get into that. What do they call it? That witchery or whatever they call it. Baby, I don't get into none of that. Baby, I keep that so far out of my den. But when I heard her say that, I said, baby teeth all around the house? I said, what was this lady, what was Brenay trying to do to this woman? Like, you got the man, sis. What more do you want, witchcraft, Sean? What more do you want? She wanted her soul. Baby, that's a real thing, y'all. There's a lot of people out here that practice and believe in that.
When Brenay was cross-examining Akira, she said to her, didn't you tell me it was okay for me to be with your husband? Like, you okayed this. And Akira ate her up when she said, I opened up my home to you. I did not open up my husband's legs to you. When is it ever okay? I never okayed that. I wanted my marriage. I had no idea you were in my marital home having sex with my husband after I had let you in because you lied and said George was beating on you. This lady, now mind you, the husbands are cousins. But this lady, Brenay, wanted to be her. Well, Tiffany, what do you mean by that? Akira got on live one day and said she wanted a 7-seater Kia because she wanted more kids. It was her dream car. 2 weeks later, Brenay went and got a 7-seater Kia and named the car Dream. When Akira got a hair done, Brenay would go get her hair done exactly the same way.
Now, I heard that with different people on TikTok was saying that. Like, Brenay almost was taking on the whole characteristics of a Kyra.
Brenay used to wear her nails like out to here, like, you know, them real ghetto long nails. Akira wore French tips. Brenay has French tips. Short nails now. So I'm not saying just because you had somebody's husband, you wanted to be them. No, you actually want to be her. You understand what I'm saying to you? You actually want to be her. So destiny swapping is real. And I think that for the rest of the year, you all should be very vigilant and saying, you know what, God, I would like to pray against this spirit of demonic compassion. Why? Because once you start praying that prayer and God starts to reveal to you who he wants you to uproot out of your life, you may not understand why he wants you to uproot that person in the moment. But could it be he wants you to uproot that specific person because that person's trying to steal your life and he's trying to save your life? God is trying to quite literally save your life. You understand? Anywho, number 3, document everything. Document everything. This case has been going on for about 2 or 3 years, or the situation has been going on for that long. And the reason why Akira won $1.5 million for the alienation of affection and $250,000 for criminal conversation was because she had documented everything. Liars lie. So every time they asked Brenay a question, she lied on it. There was a text message to prove otherwise. Every time the husband lied, there was a text message to prove otherwise. Now, let me let you in on what alienation of affection is. It doesn't just mean that when your spouse cheats on you, you can sue the mistress. No, if you guys reconcile and get back together again, that's not alienation of affection. Alienation of affection means that your marriage was completely dissolved because of this affair and it was never reinstated. Okay. So if there was any reconciliation of the marriage, she wouldn't have been able to sue. But with alienation of affection, you have to prove that you and your spouse loved each other, that there was a loving relationship that took place prior to the dissolution of the marriage, meaning you guys for 3 years weren't sleeping in different rooms and hated each other, but just couldn't afford to get different houses. No, there was a loving relationship established. Now, the reason there's many reasons I know witchcraft was involved in this case, but anytime a man changes how he feels about you so aggressively out of nowhere, really, you pretty much know that there's witchcraft involved. I mean, he was on his stand just in disdain about his ex-wife, saying how he never loved her, never liked her, never. Like, you would have just thought somebody paid him to marry her.
Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Okay, you're no longer together. You don't love me. Okay. But to get on court, get into court and get on stand and basically demolish this woman's existence almost really gives to me like he was under some type of spell, meaning Tim. And the spell, in my opinion, was cast by Brenay. Because she wants, and you know what, I'm going to tell you something about stuff like that. What you think you doing can inadvertently flip on you. And you trying to make this man love you could possibly turn to him despising you. Because one thing you don't do is play with God.
However, she was able to prove through text messages the cruises they went on, right? The sexting that they had. We all saw those messages in the court. We all saw the explicit, body part pictures that the husband was sending. There was without a doubt love in the marriage, which was needed to be proven with the alienation of affection. That when this person moved into the home, that's when everything dissolved.
So let me say this to you, Ray. All people can cheat. But do all people cheat? Meaning men and women? No. But we're all capable of cheating, obviously. But do all people, meaning men and women, act on that? No. There are truly a lot of men and women that have healthy relationships. And because we see so many people with unhealthy relationships, unfortunately, people just loop everybody up into one group. But there are a lot of men and women that do not cheat on each other. And obviously, there are a lot that do.
And it was downhill from there. Criminal conversation, Tiffany's version of it is anything you say inappropriate to somebody else's husband. Okay. We also saw the videos as evidence of Brenay being very sexual with Akira's husband in Akira's marital home. I mean, Brenay documented like a serial killer her every move. Everything that she was guilty of, she documented. And she did it really to try to humiliate Akira because she couldn't kill her. That's my personal opinion. I believe that if this had not have gone to court at the time it did, Brenay, in my opinion, would have done something much more sinister. And as a matter of fact, we need to just continue to pray against it. Akira does have a restraining order against her. She does have a cyber stalking case coming up, which is great, in my opinion.
So I have a question. What does that do for visitations with the children? Because as you guys know, Tim and Akira share children together. So how does that look moving forward? Because obviously, if Tim and Brenay live together and you have this restraining order on her, what about the children? How does that look for the children? See how so many people are caught up in this that don't need to be? The kids are all caught up in this situation. And obviously they don't need to be. Now, Brenay doesn't have any children. And if I was Akira, I would never want my kids around that lady. Never, ever. Because the hate that you have for me can spill off into my children.
But my point is, everything was documented. Like me, old Tiffany, I was like, this would have been a criminal case because somebody doing that in my marital home, maybe you would have got drugged. The old me. Because that's never happening to me in Jesus' name. First of all, ain't nobody coming to live in my house. You understand? With my house. But when you got a mama, because Akira has a mother, wise woman, who is also a lawyer, knowing the laws of this state.
Wow. Okay, say.
Told her daughter, when you're done grieving, let me know when you're ready to file the alienation of affection suit. This is so necessary that they could have gone off of their first mind, which was to fist fight everybody. Because I'm sure that's what everybody says. Oh, it wouldn't be me, I would fight. But she had a wise mother who was thinking soberly and said, no, you're actually going to win this. We have proof and we're going to fight this in court. And the fighting that they did in court was way more lucrative than the fighting they would have did
in the streets,
just being dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to say this, because many people say $1.5 million, $250,000. She'll never see that money. She is going to see the money. She's going to see the money. Those judgments are going to come out of whatever she got, whether they seize her bank account. This is not something that bankruptcy will make disappear. That's what kind of judgment this is. She's going to get paid no matter what. Brenay has already said that she has the money online. She pretended that she didn't have the money in court, but that's not what you said online. So all of the social media checks she gets and all of that, those are going to be.
I mean, but what she says and what you can prove are two different things, because I can sit up here and tell you that I'm a millionaire. I mean, I can say that, but I'm not. The bank account gonna show that I'm not.
Garnished and put into Akira's bank account. I think what people don't understand about online is you'll be held responsible for what you post online. And don't think because the person didn't hold you responsible that year doesn't mean that they won't turn around and hold you responsible later on. Brenay had a total of, they said, about 4 to 5 million social media followers across all of her social media platforms. And here she was flaunting somebody else's husband, her best friend's husband, right? On her social media, which causes humiliation, shame, anxiety, things of that nature. And she got paid for that. She got paid for that. So I say all that to say, it does not pay to be somebody's mistress or mister, whatever they call it. It doesn't. It doesn't. And not only is Brenay going to have to pay that in the natural, they're going to pay for this spiritually. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that will he also reap. Their life is getting ready to go down a spiral. It's not going to be good for none of them, including the family members that sat in agreement with them being covenant breakers, which is what God warns us against in Romans chapter 1.
Now, her saying that, it's not her wishing bad on them. Again, if you are into your Bible and you're a believer, you know what she's saying will happen. You know, it's what God says. It's in the Bible.
God is against covenant breakers. We tend to think that our agreement with people is innocent, even online. You just pick somebody you agree with, but you're going to be held accountable to every amen you give without discerning or asking the Holy Ghost, is this person lying on this person or not? We just want to be a lot more discerning.
Right. It's just facts.
I mean, I have a lot of notes here. I'll spare you
it's in the Bible.
The details, but I will just say the attorney, her name was Robin, I believe. She did a great job. So congratulations to Robin, the attorney. Congratulations to the family, Akira's family that won. And I pray that Devin, the ex-husband of Brenay, is up next for a lawsuit. Sued him for everything he got coming with alienation of affection.
So like I said, you guys, again, her channel name is Tiffany Montgomery, and she gets pretty good views over there on her channel. If you got, and it's Tiffany spelled Tiphanni Montgomery. And I like to listen to different people's perspectives. Now, am I going to say that everything you say is, you know, gospel and I'm just not, but I like to listen to different people's perspectives. Obviously, I'm a critical thinker. I have a mind of my own. So sometimes I'll listen to things and kind of, you know, piece these conversations together and be like, okay, that's a good point, you know, and I may elaborate on it or whatever, you know. So I feel like she, you know, she had a good conversation. It was about 7 or 8 minutes left in that video. If you guys want to go over there and catch the rest of what she was saying, again, her channel, name is Tiffany, and it's Tiffany, Tiphanni, Tiffany Montgomery. Okay. And so apparently Devin, from what you guys are saying, he's maybe suing or possibly suing Tim. And it just seems like this is going to, you know, I guess at one point this will end. But all I'm saying is, and I'm just going to, you know, finalize my words, like, Brenay, was it worth all this? I mean, because you could have got whatever let me say this, whatever Tim is giving her, she could have got it from any other man without all this additional. She could have got this from any other man with less problems. So until she coughs over this 1.75 million, this 250,000, she will be forever in Akira's debt, basically. Forever. I heard on social media that apparently she has some type of trust fund or something. I don't know how true that is. But I would love to be a fly on the wall listening right now to Brenay and Tim's conversation, because I would think the tension would be kind of tight over there. Because every time I would look at him, I'm like, dude, you just cost me damn near $2 million. You like the way she broke that down, Pearl? Yeah, I think she did a pretty good job. I know some of you guys had some different opinions about her. I mean, and you're free to have those. I'm not forcing you to listen to what she say, but you know, I like to give you guys different perspectives. And again, this is the break room. You know, I try to give you guys a variety of conversations. And again, you guys have been telling me to check out this Tim and Brenay situation. I didn't really know where to start, you know, because like I told you guys, I had heard about it, but I hadn't really got into it. And like I said, I got into it today and I literally went down the rabbit hole. I was like, God, it's a lot. And I just, you know, I feel bad for everybody involved because they just don't understand how precious their lives are, or, you know, and Akira, hopefully she finds happiness. I know it's going to be hard for her. She apparently has a new guy in her life. I hope this guy does much better than Tim did, you know, but it's probably going to be really hard for her to trust again, considering all that she's going through, you know, spiritually, mentally, financially, you know, emotionally, being there for her children as well as for herself. That's a lot for a person. And, you know, working and, you know, managing a household. You know, I hope Akira has time to just sit in her thoughts and heal. I pray she heals from this. You know, Tim was definitely not deserving of Akira. And God knows, I don't know Akira from the hole in the wall, but he definitely wasn't deserving of that woman. I'm glad Akira had the type of mother that helped her fight the legal way, the correct way, instead of being out there in the streets fighting, dragging Brenay and her twin sister down the street together. I'm glad her mother decided to, you know, help her fight legally and get some type of compensation, because she needed to be compensated for the way she's been treated. She didn't deserve that. And again, I don't know Akira, but I'm just going to say she did not deserve that. She didn't deserve it because, again, she was a wife to that man. She was a mother to his children. She was a friend, apparently a best friend to Brenay, and she did not deserve that from neither one of them. And shame on them to do that woman like that. Like, whatever happened to I quit you? and y'all just go about your business. The continuous for a couple of years now, the antagonizing that lady on social media and flaunting their relationship all around. That was horrible. You know, that was horrible. But Akira won in the end, so good for her. Yeah, it is. It is. That dumb dick. I read my Bible and I said, and it says in that Bible. Yes, right, Nina. It does. So I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Hopefully you guys got some think pieces out of it, especially the part where she's talking about, you know, letting spirits and different people up in your house, and people's spirits up in your house. Y'all take a little listen to that, you know, and implement that in your personal life, whichever way. It's a true thing, you guys. Learn how to protect your peace. And I'm telling you that I had to learn that the hard way, you know, because I'm such a kind person. And I have a very helpful spirit, and I always want to help people. But as I've gotten older and tried to become more wiser, what I have learned is you can't help everybody. And that's the situation with Kyra and Brenay. Kyra caught herself trying to help her friend. And look what ended up happening to her in the end. Yeah, she ended up getting a pretty nice sizable lawsuit. But look what all she had to go through to get like all her business all across the globe. Everybody all in this lady's personal business. And all she was trying to do was help a friend. That's it. That's all she was trying to do. She was just trying to help a friend. Sometimes, y'all, your helpfulness is not helpful. You just got to learn that. Sometimes, and I'm telling y'all what God loves and what I know from my own personal experience. You cannot help everybody. You have to use discernment. And as bad as you want to help, it's okay to say no. I can't. No, sis, I ain't got it. No. And maybe you could be sitting with $5,000 in your back pocket. And all sis need is 100. Sis, I ain't got it. And it's not being evil. It's not being mean-spirited. It's called protecting your peace. I'm just saying, sis. That's what it is. And you just got to learn how to do it because, y'all, we've seen what's been going on in our country with the government shutdown and all that's going on. It's a lot of evilness in this world, and learn how to protect yourself from it. Now, I'm not saying ostracize yourself from everybody that you know. I'm not saying that. I'm saying use discernment. That's it. Yep, it's enabling. That's true. Yes, Bella, you have to learn your lesson. And I'm telling you guys, I'm work in progress. I have to learn that. I had a really good friend that I had to end a friendship with this year, you know, and no shade, no tea. You got nobody on social media, because nobody on social media has been my true friend. I'm talking about in my own personal life. Right. And it was hard because we've been friends for years. I just realized we're not going in the same direction. I just, you know, so that friendship we had for years ended. Because I just realized you're not going where I'm going. So I'm going to have to leave you where you at. I wish you well, but I got to leave you where you at. Sometimes you just got to do that, y'all. Again, it's called protecting your peace. It's called growing. It's called learning and understanding who you are as a person, what you're willing to accept from people. You should not just accept anything. I don't care if it's friends, family, husband, wife. Don't just accept anything, because I guarantee you nobody's just going to accept anything from you. All right, y'all, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys clock out the break room. That's hitting the like button on your way out the door. If you catch this in the replay, please leave your thoughts and opinion in the replay. And TMR, we'll see y'all in the next one, honey. Remember, sub what you love. Bye.